Hi, I'm Red Snapper, and welcome to the Showgirl's Closet. Today, we're going to look at my bus sweater and doodle skirt. Now, when I was a kid, there was this idea that in the 50s, poodle skirts were rampant, along with saddle shoes. That was just the thing. I don't think my mother ever owned a poodle skirt proper. But anyway, it communicates 1950s poodle skirts. I performed with Chocolate Box Burlesque in, I believe it was 2015 at Monday Night Tease. Mr. Snapper and I hosted, and we did our mentalism bit. I think that was the only time we've done mentalism. And I performed with the ladies of Chocolate Box Burlesque. We did a group number at the very end, and it was lots and lots of fun. We did sweaters and poodle skirts as part of it because we were saying like, oh, we're a girl gang, basically. And you can see where I talk about the bunny slippers that Mr. Snapper made for me for that Chocolate Box Burlesque show in a previous episode. I also talk a little bit about the sweater and skirt in our Project Nutmeg episode about fundraising. Anyway, we wanted matching outfits because we were basically a girl gang, and this was just too cute. And we could customize it based on what we wanted to have. So I showcased my dogs at the time, and Mr. Snapper did the designs. So we've got an Old Navy sweater here with a buster applique. The applique is glued together, and there's fabric paint here to delineate the limbs. And Buster was such a skinny guy that, you know, there's a good backing on here so that it was easier to hand stitch to the sweater. His eyes were green at the time. His eyes changed color over time. We brought him home. His eyes were blue. And then they turned green. So I think he was maybe 5 when we did this. So his eyes were green at the time. And then his eyes turned brown a bit later, which is crazy. He had some poodle in him. Maybe that's why things changed. Here is our Buster replica. We miss him very much, but here's my spirit bus watching over in the squirreling hat and his little neckerchief, and he's got a squirrel with him. So that's Bus on the sweater, and I love it. Mr. Snapper did all of the work. He may have even stitched it on using, oh, it looks like it was stitched on with the machine. So he may have done that, or I may have done that. It was so long ago. Who can remember? All right, then we have the Doodle Skirt, which this was my doodle bug. I got her when, like right before I started pole dancing classes. I named her Felicity, but by day 2, we were just calling her Doodlebug. And she was the cutest little thing. And when we brought her home, she had gigantic ears compared to the rest of her. The ears were huge, and she was so tiny. And whenever we think of Doodle, we think of those huge ears. And she had little spots, and she had one brown eye and one blue eye. Mr. Snapper would say focused and crazy. I don't know if he was saying that the blue eyes were crazy and the brown eyes were focused, or if he was saying that the blue eyes were focused and the brown eyes were crazy. Who knows what he was saying there. But she was the pinkest dog we've ever owned. She had a heart-shaped name tag, and it was a poodle skirt, so I had to have a doodle skirt. And he created this as well. When we did a fundraiser to make some money for her medical bills, we based it on this. The applique was based on this. And we had to do one for Buster as well. And his fundraiser, we made an applique and we sold pillows. And it was based on this. He changed it up a bit so that it was easier to do as an applique. Because there are a lot of pivots and lots of little turns to make when you're quickly trying to turn out something that is attractive and appealing. So he had to change it a bit, made it a bit cuter, giving Bus a bigger head. But they were the origin for that. Anyway, in this act, we're the girl gang. We're showing off how we can booty clap and stuff. Right. So we pull off, I think we pull each other's shirts off. So we had like a dickie inside of this. And then we would pull off the skirt, and then we would do our own version of booty clapping. And it was fun and silly. And we had some cheerleader moves at the beginning that I was very bad at. But let's take a look at these fancy things. Ta-da! Old Navy sweater. One of the gals went out and bought sweaters for all of us, and then we reimbursed so that we'd have the same kind of sweater. And here's my Bus on my Letterman sweater. And there's my Doodle with a really great, super long pink leash. I like that the leash comes like all the way up here, and there's a handle on it because leashes have handles. I mean, come on. You can't just have a rope leash. This isn't the 1950s. Good grief. Or those pesky retractable leashes. Those are bullshit. Don't use those. You could lose a finger, and they don't help you manage your dog. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, super cute. Right there. And this, I believe, is all glued down. It's very easy to make a circle skirt like this. You don't have to stitch felt. It's not woven. It's not knit. It is, like, I don't know, particle board. It's fabric particle board. It's just kind of all the plastic bottles put together. You don't have to hem it. You just need enough. And it needs to be wide enough that you could cut a skirt. I think I did a little bit of stitching. Yeah, I did some stay stitching at the waist, which is something that you do around collars and necklines so it doesn't stretch while you're stitching another piece onto it. It's very easy for those to stretch. So I did some stay stitching along the top in hopes I could help keep it together since it was going around the waist. What's especially funny about this skirt, I mean, this shows how things cling to us over time. It has Bus hair. The sweater has coca hair. And I'm sure because Doodle was white, I'm positive that there's some Doodle hair on this. So 3 of my past friends are hanging out on this. My current pack, they don't shed the same way. Mr. Snapper doesn't shed the same way either as these dogs, these short-haired dogs would. Nutmeg doesn't shed, and I don't think Chowder sheds either. They have to get shaved. But here you go. I would clean the Poodle skirt with one of those lint rollers, probably. Or if it got really funky, I might spot clean or take it to a dry cleaner. And I would have to tell the dry cleaner what it's made of and how it's put together. Like, so this is glue behind this. I don't know. I don't think it should be soaking in water for a long time. I don't want to reactivate the glue and have things get funky. For the sweater, it's a spot clean kind of situation. So washing the armpits. If I was wearing this on stage and stripping out of it, nowadays, I would probably leave the armpits where they, wouldn't do anything special in the armpits. Just wash them afterwards and try to keep my guy safe. If I was wearing this for stage, I would put a couple of panty liners in here just to absorb the sweat. Or if I was doing a photo shoot in it. I mean, I don't have anything in there right now, but I'm not wearing it for a long period of time. And yeah, there you go. You could convert a regular old Navy sweater into a Letterman type sweater. You don't get the arm stripes, but you find a fun applique to put on there. And it's really easy to make a circle skirt. It is a circle skirt. It's just getting the right amount of felt. And then finding the applique that makes you happy. I want to say that one of the girls had a cat with a leash on hers because she was a cat person. I don't remember for certain though, but yeah, I love my bust sweater and my doodle skirt. And even though I only performed that number once, I treasure these so much that I'm not getting rid of them. I'm keeping them in my Showgirl's closet. And Mr. Snapper really deserves a lot of credit for making all of this happen, because this was, I said I want, and he provided. He even did all of the fine painting on here so that I had the perfect thing. And he made the bunny slippers, so obviously he's amazing. That's all I have for you today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, boop the bell for notifications. Have you ever made a poodle skirt? I'm sure you haven't made a doodle skirt, but have you made a poodle skirt, or have you made a Letterman type sweater? I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please share with me. And was your mother the person who wore exclusively saddle shoes and poodle skirts?
Or grandmother at this point.
Oh, you're right. Maybe it was your grandmother who wore these things. Like, my mom didn't. I don't know who was wearing all of them, that they became such iconic pieces to reflect or represent the 1950s. I'd love to hear from you. Please consider subscribing to my Patreon at patreon.com/Snapperama, where I have more burlesque and nudist content. You see a lot more of me than you see here. It's all silly shenanigans. You can get some behind the scenes. Know that you see more of me than you see here. And if you want to support the stuff that we do with Nutmeg and Project Nutmeg, you can sign up. I'm just here for the dog. It's a $5 level. You won't see any posts on Patreon. You're excluded from them, but you will be helping support our channel and our work with Nutmeg. And you will see me next time. Bye.